Welcome to this gents scissor cut tutorial. My name is Michael Holm. I've been cutting hair for 20 years, and in this tutorial we're covering lots of techniques that you can use for cutting men's hair. To begin this cut, I'm using a number 3 guard, and I'm going in with the points of the teeth at the very base of the neck, and I'm going to use a curving out motion which takes the clipper up to around about the occipital bone. That's the bone that protrudes the most at the back of the head. So just this curving motion, just repeat that on the back of the head and make several passes until it's nice and clean. To the sides of the occipital bone, we're just going to use a straight up technique and go up to the sort of ridge between the occipital bone and the parietal ridge. It's like, again, the area that sticks out the most, and just go straight up on that section. It would be a mistake to curve over onto the top of the head. We don't want to cut that. That hair we can cut with the scissors, and I'll be showing you how to cut that in this video. So get that all nice and clean. When you're cutting the hair on the side, we want it all combed down in its natural position and move the top out of the way. That means we can go against the grain and lift up into it with the clipper. This is the motion, straight up. Now I'm holding my comb there just to stop the hair riding up away from the clipper blade. Sometimes with thick hair it can do that. What you wouldn't want to do is pull the hair down with the comb. Okay, so ear out of the way, and I'm just going to try and get in there and clean up behind the ear. That's the first and simplest part of the cut done, the bulk removal. Now what we're going to do is taper it a little bit with a number 1, followed by a 1.5, followed by number 2. So the number 1 first, and I apologise for this little blurry section. Once you've done the number 1, move the lever down. That makes it slightly longer and makes it into the 1.5 position. I'm just going to go a little bit higher with the 1.5, and that's going to soften this edge. When you get to the side, twist the clipper out so that the points of the teeth are lifted off from the centre. That stops you from obliterating the hair higher up. The reason you really would do that is because the head is curved, it isn't flat, and sometimes to get the angle of what you want to actually cut, you need to do that. So number 2, and just go a little bit higher now on this area. This is giving us that 1, 1.5, 2, 3. So it's a graduation or a taper, but it's a longer taper. Okay, so it's more of a short back and sides with a taper. Again, on the sides we're repeating what we did on the back with the 1.5 and the 2. It's very important that you don't go as high as you did with your number 3. And when we did the number 3, we went straight up on the side, and you want to follow that with the 2. Try and go straight up, but don't go as high as you did with the 3, and that's going to give us this build up from short into long hair. On the edges, I'm going to use my little trimmer, and I'm just going to take away the hair that's sticking out beyond the hairline. Around the ear, be careful, you don't want to go inside the hairline, just the hair that sticks out. I like to make a straight line from the back of the ear down towards the nape of the neck, and then tidy up all that neck hair at the back. Now, something I'll say is, people are always asking me what equipment I use. This trimmer, don't buy it. It's not the best. I won't even tell you what it is, but yeah, it's close, but the blades are a bit disappointing. The other clipper I was using was a Wahl Magiclip. They're pretty good. Many barbers use them. So clean all this off and let's go on to the top. Look, we've got a disconnect here. This hair is quite long and it's hanging over, so we need to deal with that when we're cutting. I'm going to wet it all down first. Always scissor cut on wet hair. Now on the top, I'm going to cut a guideline that's flat so that the hair at the crown and the hair at the front are longer than the hair in the middle. You can kind of see what I mean here. And this area here in the middle is going to be shorter than the hair around it. So let's pick this up here. Now look, the hair at my inside knuckle, I've lifted up far enough so that that's actually not going to get cut. That means that's as long as that will be when I start cutting it. Okay, so long hair at the crown, and I work my way forwards here and pull back because I want to create a flat shape when I lift all this up. And see when we get to the other side here, look at the fringe, look at the hair from the front. I'm pulling it right up until there's almost nothing left to cut. Whereas you did see me taking quite a lot off in the middle. Now that I've done that, I should have a guideline. So I'm going to separate the hair. I'm going to take all the hair in the middle and move this side hair out of the way. Now, I should be able to see the short hair that I cut every time I collect a section and cut it. So I pick up and cut. I can see the short hair from my guideline in the middle, and I'm just cutting to that. If you are new to barbering and you want to learn more from me, I do have a couple of courses on Udemy, and I will leave some links below for that. There is a few free lessons with those courses, so if you want to have a look at them, you don't need to buy the course to see the free stuff. What I want to do is I want this hair at the side to be the same length as the hair in the middle when it's lifted up. So I can see at my fingertips that there is some short hair that I've already cut. And if I lift this hair up, there's the long stuff, and I'm just taking the long stuff. When you're scissor cutting hair, something I get asked a lot is, how can I make it neater? Well, if you're cutting hair and it's not neat, one of the biggest things you can do is make your section smaller. If you find that you've got too much hair in between your fingers, just reduce the amount of hair that you're picking up. Sometimes doing that, just little sections, very thin sections, can really improve the quality of your scissor work. On the right hand side, I need to copy what I did on the left hand side. So there will be a short point in the middle, and each section I pull, I'll be able to see that short point. So if I was to lift up all this hair and see it all stand on an end, I really want a box shape. So you see, I pull the fringe and then lift it straight up. If I lift the fringe right up like this, then after I've cut it, I should have enough length to reach towards the eyebrows. So on the side here, I need to connect the top and the sides. So if I take these sections out like this, I can see the short hair from the side and the top, and I can join the two together. Doing this is really going to deal with that disconnect. Look how long that is there. You can see that that would have been a major disconnection between the top and the sides. But this is bringing it all back together. When you've taken vertical sections like that, that's up and down sections, it's a good idea to smooth them over with some horizontal scissor over comb. Now, on the crown, how do we deal with this? What we need to do is cut from the top down, and these hairs on the top are going to reach all the way down past the occipital bone. So we need to raise them up to where the occipital ridge is and trim them there. So working from the top, pick up a section with your scissor, cut it on the comb, lower it down, and then take another section. And what we're doing is, each section you cut, you're cutting it to the point that you just want it to sit on the occipital ridge, that length. If you jump over to the side of that, you can see it again, just taking it down to the occipital ridge. And when you get to the bottom, just scissor over comb, like feather the scissor. That's a good idea to soften the connection. You can see that I'm being very careful not to take it so short that the hair won't reach over to the ridges. The hair from the top really on the crown area should reach the ridges. It's going to lie nicely like that. Now we need to deal with this disconnection on this side, so again I'm pulling the hair out at an angle perpendicular to the top of the head, and I'm just removing anything that's overhanging. There should be a major overhang at the front here because remember it was quite, look at that, it was quite disconnected. So get rid of that, comb it all down. And that same technique that we used on the crown. Cutting like this is a good way to see how the hair would lay when it's just relaxed on the side of the head without putting any tension on it. I have talked about the block before. This is the area that they call the block. Some people call it the block. And it's a block graduation. I like to do it without tension, with the hair just lying in its natural position. This hair at the front here, what we're doing is following the line of the parietal ridge, and that's giving me a guide to cut the fringe, okay? So here's that. So if I follow the line of the parietal ridge and then just pull the fringe down and cut out anything that's sticking out beyond my imaginary ridge. See, it's almost going to the corner of the eyebrow. That gives me a nice continuity from the hair on the side getting into the fringe. I'm just going to take off any stragglers at the front here. My client doesn't have incredibly thick hair at the front, but I'm still keeping it long. So just pulling the hair down to the bridge of the nose and trimming off any kind of straggly hair, anything that looks a little bit messy. Even though this is kind of a textured finish on this haircut, I'm just going to get rid of that and then give the hair a good dry off. I'm not putting any product in this to dry it off, just drying it naturally, and that's sitting really well. I'm dead happy with that. I think my client was quite happy. It's just a kind of a textured style. Even though I didn't use texturizing techniques, it's turned out quite well. Listen, good luck with your gents hair cutting, and I'll see you in my next video.